What if I told you Marvel just released the darkest and most emotionally brutal Punisher story ever put on screen? Because Punisher One Last Kill isn't just another MCU special. This is a full psychological breakdown of Frank Castle at his absolute lowest point. And by the end of this video, we need to talk about why Jon Bernthal may have just delivered the definitive live-action Punisher performance.
This is the way. This is the way.
Welcome to Fatherly Fandom. I'm your host, Chris, and if you love Marvel breakdowns, Easter eggs, deep dives, and all things nerdy, you're absolutely in the right place. So hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and don't forget to click that bell icon because YouTube turns notifications off by default. And if you want to stay up to date with all the amazing content coming to the channel, you're going to want those notifications on. Guys, Punisher One Last Kill is brutal. Not MCU brutal. I mean, genuinely raw, violent, emotional, exhausting brutality. And that's exactly why this works. This special fully embraces what makes Frank Castle such a tragic and terrifying character, a PTSD-ridden war veteran who has lost absolutely everything. And for the first time in years, Marvel lets Jon Bernthal completely unleash that pain. Now, before we break down the Easter eggs and comic references, we need to talk about how important this special is for the MCU, because this story feels like a culmination of everything that started back in Season 2 of Daredevil. That's where Bernthal first debuted his character of Frank Castle, instantly becoming one of the best characters in Marvel television history. Back then, Frank wasn't just fighting criminals, he was clashing with Daredevil over ideology itself. Matt Murdock believed in justice. Frank Castle believed some people deserve punishment. Then came the Punisher. We explored who Frank is when the war slows down. And the answer was heartbreaking. A broken man with no purpose beyond violence. Now, One Last Kill pushes that idea even further. When the special opens, Frank is isolated, paranoid, and mentally unraveling. He's surrounded by newspaper clippings and murder boards, tracking everyone tied to his family's death. And that's our first major Easter egg because the murder board directly mirrors Frank's setups from both the Netflix series and the Punisher Max comics by Garth Ennis. But here's the difference now. Frank tears the whole thing down because his mission is technically complete. The people responsible for his family's murders are dead, and without the mission, Frank Castle has no idea who he's supposed to be anymore. And outside, New York is completely falling apart. Gang violence everywhere, cars burning, innocent people getting attacked in broad daylight. And honestly, this special feels so much like The Wire. And if you haven't seen The Wire, guys, go out and see it. It's incredible television. The city feels broken, exhausted, crime-ridden, and you can see it all on film. Every neighborhood looks like it's barely surviving. And I honestly think a lot of that chaos is the aftermath of what we saw happen in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. After Fisk, the gang wars, and the collapse of order in parts of New York, the city feels like it's spiraling out of control. And since New York is so out of control, this is what makes Frank feel necessary in this world. Not heroic, necessary. And then Marvel makes you immediately hate the villains by having one of them throw a dog into traffic. Not just a dog, but the only thing that a homeless veteran had left. Seriously, one of the fastest ways to make me instantly hate a character is by killing a dog. The second that happened, I was done with those guys. And luckily, Frank absolutely makes sure the guy responsible gets what's coming to him by the end. That whole sequence also gives me massive John Wick vibes. And if you're going to draw from anything, John Wick and The Wire are the best choices to use for the Punisher. This John Wick vibe gets amplified, especially once the bounty goes out on Frank and every criminal in Little Sicily starts hunting him down. The city basically turns into a war zone, and Frank becomes a one-man army. We also get some incredible emotional scenes throughout the special, especially Frank's hallucinations of his wife Maria, his daughter Lisa, and his fellow Marines. Jason R. Moore returns as Curtis Hoyle from the Netflix series, one of my favorites, which longtime fans like me and you are absolutely gonna appreciate. And the cemetery scene might honestly be the best acting Jon Bernthal has ever done as Frank Castle. Watching Frank completely break down at his family's grave is devastating. No jokes, no quips, just grief. And yes, we get a call back to One Batch, Two Batch, Penny and Dime, which longtime Punisher fans know is tied directly to Lisa Castle. We even see the Central Park carousel from Frank's memories, another major callback to the Netflix era and Billy Russo's storyline, which frankly I thought we'd get a hallucination of Billy Russo since he was so pivotal in Season 1 and 2 of The Punisher. Then we get the big villain reveal. And I love this reveal, guys. Judith Light is Ma Gnucci. And comic fans probably lost it over this because Ma Gnucci is one of the most iconic Punisher villains from the Garth Ennis Max run. Frank has already wiped out most of the Gnucci crime family before the special even starts, which explains why all of Little Sicily wants him dead. And yes, Little Sicily and Gnucci's restaurant are both direct comic references pulled straight from the Punisher Max stories. But what makes this adaptation fascinating is how Frank changes by the end. Because instead of chasing revenge nonstop, Frank actually chooses to save innocent people. That's the evolution happening here. Frank Castle is becoming the quintessential Punisher from the comics. Not just a revenge machine, a soul soldier who believes the war never ends. And visually, we see the evolution at the end when Frank cuts his hair, puts the skull armor back on, nice and fresh, and fully embraces his new identity moving forward, which is clearly setting up his role in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And honestly, seeing Jon Bernthal's Punisher finally interact with Spider-Man on the big screen is going to be incredible. Honestly, guys, I hope he gets his own series moving forward, because the Punisher needs a series or at least a movie treatment. The biggest reason this special works is Jon Bernthal himself. This is the best performance of Frank Castle yet. Raw, bloody, emotional, brutal. So for me, my rating of Punisher One Last Kill, it gets a 9.5 out of 10. One of the best Marvel special presentations they've ever done, and easily one of the strongest street-level MCU projects since the Netflix era. So what did you think of Punisher One Last Kill? Did Jon Bernthal just cement himself as the definitive Punisher? What was your favorite Easter egg or callback? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I'll be down there talking with y'all. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video, and check out the rest of the channel for more Marvel deep dives, Star Wars coverage, DC breakdowns, and all things nerdy. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, stay nerdy, my friends, and I will see you next time.